guys, a couple of really exciting things. Number one, our United Community North America-wide Facebook group is now live, and we are going to be doing so much in this group. We are going to be dropping amazing content, all the recordings, live streaming there in the future. Like, there will be so much goodness happening inside our United Community Facebook group. Please grab the link in the chat and jump in. Member number 5. Yeah, make sure you guys join. We're really, really excited. We're going to be getting that going. So many of you were probably part of, like, we had a smaller private Facebook group. This is just me, like, admitting, you guys, like, I learned all the lessons in all the things when it comes to business and entrepreneurialism, but like, private Facebook groups are not when you're wanting to, like, expand to the masses and, like, bring a ton of value to, like, your entire industry. You can't do that in a private Facebook group. So anyways, we've shut down the private group. We are going to crush it with this open public group. We're really excited about it. So join it. Invite your colleagues, invite your friends that are in the industry. We want to make sure that we've got a ton of traction inside that Facebook group. Second of all, Joe, we have an awesome announcement dropping today about a big virtual event happening on November the 19th. Do you want to share what that is?
Yeah, so Amy and I were talking. There's a world where everything revolves around our production and our ability to feed our families. Like, that's what we're doing here, right? That's what the industry is for us. And so as we thought about it, there is a world in which we need to make sure our content creation game is on point. And luckily, Amy, myself, Raquel, we have, as you can see, we've got Chris here. Chris is a buddy of ours. One of the things that we can help you guys with is we have connections with some amazing talent in the industry. And so on November 19th, we are doing a virtual event. It is called CreatorCon. And the concept—
Let's show it. Leilani,
yeah, we got a video. Yeah, show the video.
No, we're not going to show the video, but we're going to show where our landing page, if she's got that up
She
there.
dropped it in.
Yeah.
Oh, she dropped it. Perfect. Okay, awesome.
Yeah, so the premise behind it is, let's get some of the best creators in the industry sharing with you guys practical advice that you could take away, 1 or 2 things that you could put into your business that'll make a difference in your ability to provide for your family, build wealth, whatever stage you're at in your real estate journey.
You guys, we had almost 500 people at our virtual halftime event in June, and it was, like, off the charts. So we want to make sure that CreatorCon is exactly that, if not even bigger. And we're really excited because we've actually been knee deep into planning 2026 already. And we have halftime lined up for 2026. We have CreatorCon that's going to be lined up for 2026. So these are going to become pillar virtual events of United that you're not going to want to miss. And for all of our local United leaders, you're going to get all the marketing assets and everything customized to you so that you can promote it within your local realtor community as well. So we're really, really pumped about that. Okay. CreatorCon, November the 19th, new Facebook group. We'll drop the links again in a little bit.
An amazing lineup.
What's that?
I said we have an amazing lineup for CreatorCon.
Oh my gosh, it's so good. It's so good. But speaking of amazing lineups, this speaker today does not need a lineup because he is the lineup of all lineups. So you guys, there's just so much freaking noise out there right now. Like, I cannot be the only one that gets overwhelmed by all the noise when it comes to marketing, tech, AI, all these things. But the question that I'm always asking myself is, like, how am I leveraging all of these marketing tools and all the things that are coming at us constantly, even the ones that I'm really good at, to make sure that I am actually converting that marketing and that message into sales, into deals. And there is literally nobody in this industry who knows conversion better than our speaker today. Chris Smith is not just a longtime friend of ours, which I'm so, I love that I can say, I remember Chris when. And it was such an honor to be able to say that. But Chris is, as you guys know, he is the author of the Conversion Code, best-selling author. He is the co-author of Exactly What to Say for Real Estate Agents. He is the co-founder of Curator, which is the reason why some of us are even friends in the industry today, because of the community that Chris and Jimmy built. He is the co-founder of Ella Email Marketing and Beacon Listing Beacon, and he's going to be here with us today to help us crush the rest of 2025 and go into 2026 super strong. And Chris messaged me yesterday and he messaged today. You guys, he has poured his heart and soul into this presentation, and I know it is going to be a game changer. So I'm going to stop talking and I'm going to give it over to you, Chris.
Thank you. That was really nice. I remember when you were a W-2 employee for Exit Realty.
I know. I know.
So,
I know we
both got stories, Amy. Hold on. We both got stories. But yeah, I'm really excited. Like, I get invited to do a lot of these. I love teaching. You know, my buddy Phil Jones said, you're a teacher, you're not a speaker. And that's just like, I like attending stuff like that. So I like to do stuff like that. So, you know, my podcasts and books and email newsletter and everything that I do is really about teaching. Exactly What to Say for Real Estate Agents went viral. It really did. It's crazy how many copies that book has sold. It's amazing. The Conversion Code is coming up on 1 million copies sold, 7 languages. Johns Hopkins uses it. NYU uses it. Like, that was one of the craziest accolades, was like, to get a degree in marketing at Johns Hopkins, you have to read the Conversion Code. Just like, wow, crazy humbling. So what I decided for today was I just wanted to create a brand new class for a brand new audience. And I started thinking about how I could bring as much value as possible in 45 minutes. And I realized that I have been able to crack the code on using AI to scale the amount of content I'm creating and the quality of the content that I'm creating, which leads to more business, more likes, more shares, more followers. You know, literally every metric is up and to the right. And I understand people that are busy, and, you know, there's a lot of valid reasons why people don't put as much work in as they should. But what I'm going to ask you guys to do is I'm going to ask you guys to steal my system. Because if you will literally copy me, by the end of this class, you will be able to do the work that makes the work easier and faster and better every single day. So I think right now, a lot of people, they log in, they run a prompt, they need something, they run a prompt, right? This is a factory. You want to build an assembly line for content. So let me pull up some of my slides. I think you'll be able to see me and the deck, Amy.
Yep.
Okay, cool.
Sure can.
That's fancy. I've never seen that before.
Yeah, it's really nice. You can kind of stay on the screen.
Yeah, you look great.
Yeah. So this is literally how I scaled the quantity and quality of my content. I'm one person. I do all my own marketing for myself and for all of my companies. I'm using a combination of 4 custom GPTs plus a project in Claude. So I'm going to show all of those. And it really, what I did, Amy, is I sat down and I consume a lot of stuff about AI. And, you know, there's really some smart people out there teaching it. But I sat down with a goal. You know, I sat down and said, I'm going to create a system that helps me create more and better content than I ever have. And I didn't think it would explode the way that it has. I mean, my content is freaking blowing up every single day.
It is. Yeah.
Like, you know, I have one post on Facebook that has over 6 million views and 8,000 comments on just one post.
Wow.
I regularly get thousands and thousands of likes and engagement on every post that I make now. Is not an accident. So that's going to be what I walk you guys through. the challenge is, and I mentioned this briefly, you know, you only have so much time and bandwidth. Like, I'll be really honest, I'm running 2 fast growing startups. Like, I'm a co-founder, I'm smart enough to have help, but I don't know that the people on this call are busier than me. I'll just say it that way. Like, I get it, but I've made it a priority because it works and it grows the businesses. Like, you need attention if you're going to turn, you know, social media into customers.
Yeah.
And so this is like the attention economy. And that's where really this stuff can help. Plus, like, let me ask you guys in the chat. We'll get a good feel for who's on the call today. I'm gonna ask a simple question. Name a social media platform that you are currently either ignoring or neglecting. I want to see what people say, which one they say. LinkedIn, TikTok, Insta, YouTube, all of them, TikTok.
Yeah, does LinkedIn count anymore, Chris?
It does. Yeah,
tier 1
it does,
player?
Joe. It does, especially for you. You know, you should be a thought leader on LinkedIn. It would help you tremendously.
I know.
Chad's
I got
me
you.
with it. Don't worry.
Chad's helping me with it.
Just keep watching. TikTok is a big one. All right. We can stop there. Someone said Pinterest. I love that, Denise. Pinterest. Pinning. All right. So the reason is, like, it's so hard. And even though you have something like, as an example, and this hopefully makes people excited, like, you can post the same video on YouTube Shorts, Reels, and TikTok. Nobody's going to care. And Facebook Reels, by the way. That's completely okay nowadays. But it's very important for me to optimize my content for the platform that it goes on. Because when you do that, it just works so much better. So there's a LinkedIn version of a tweet. You know, there's an Instagram version of a quote. Like, it is really important. So a lot of people, you know, they don't want to post because they don't have anything good to say. So that would be kind of quality. And then a lot of people, they're good at it, but they're busy. So that would be quantity. And the last thing I would say is, like, it's incredibly hard. Like, this is kind of a crazy statement, but I will never hire another marketing person again. And let me explain what I mean by that. You need a specialist for each channel. So if I had a $5,000 budget to pay my marketing person, I would go on Upwork and I would be hiring a vertical video specialist, a Facebook specialist, an email specialist, a TikTok specialist. It is literally impossible to be an expert at everything. Like, it's always a big red flag for me when it's like, we can do your social media, we can do your Google ads, we can design. No, you can't. There's so many nuances to every platform that I really, really look for experts. And you'll see that I've mimicked that in the factory that I've built. So I'm going to show you guys how you should have multiple GPTs. That would be the equivalent of having a team of marketing specialists. You need to have more than one. You can't have a marketing GPT. You're going to need a newsletter GPT. You see what I'm saying? You're going to need a GPT that just finds you great content. So there have to be clear and defined roles if you're going to build a system and stop being so chaotic.
Hey,
so
Chris,
I'm going to start.
I know what ChatGPT does.
Mm-hmm.
Is GPT an acronym for something? Like, sorry if this is such a basic question, but it's always like we use GPT as like we know that that's an AI engine, but what does GPT stand for?
That's a great question.
Do you know?
I honestly am blanking. Like,
I'm gonna search it up. I'll mute myself.
Something protocol, some general protocol, something like. But yeah, you're right. Like Claude, people think of it as an AI. Like, they're all AIs. GPT,
generative pre-trained transformer. I wonder, is that?
Yeah,
all right,
that's why people don't talk about it, because it's so lame. But the one that you hear a lot, Joe, is LLM, large language model.
Right.
So what that is it is literally an enormous database of content that studies and learns it, and then it can kind of like spit out stuff. But that's a great question. Like, I probably should have known that. I don't care that I don't, but I wish I did. So I'm going to go through 4 GPTs. And a lot of you are going like, what's a GPT? Like, I know there's Chat GPT. What's a GPT? So let me be really clear. And I'm going to walk you guys step by step through it in a second on Chat GPT. GPTs are custom versions of Chat GPT that you can spend a little bit of time building once, and they will pay themselves back over and over. So as an example, newsletter link curator GPT. That is the equivalent of my research intern, and their only job is to find the best possible content for me each and every day. So whether that's content to make a video or content for my newsletter, I mostly use it for my email newsletter. By the way, that GPT came right from the GPT store. And I'll show you guys how you can just find pre-built GPTs that are amazing. I didn't even have to touch that one. I tweaked it, but I didn't have to touch it. I didn't build it. The next 3 I built myself. So the Chris List GPT. The Chris List is my email newsletter. It's ridiculously good. Really quick in the chat, just give me a quick W's in the chat if you subscribe to the Chris List. I like to see that. Yeah, thank you. L would mean no. This is really young jargon, but it's thechrislist.com, Amy. If you want to wait till all the W's stop, thechrislist.com if you're not subscribed.
It's so good. Like,
thank you.
Just to plug you really quick, Chris, guys, we all need somebody who's an insider outsider. Like Chris, to me, Chris, this has always been part of the magic of you and Jimmy. Mm-hmm. You're in, but you're not. It's like you see things that we don't see because we're so geeked out on just being a realtor. You guys see the bigger picture, and that's what part of what Chris does with Chris List is
correct. And I also love drawing from inspiration outside of our industry and then turning the corner and saying, here's how I would do that as a real estate agent. So the Chris List GPT, the only purpose of that GPT is to help me write my email newsletter. Elevate, number 3, elevate. Think of that as a business specific GPT. So like Amy and Joe, you guys have United. You have the North group, you have the Joe Taylor group, but then you have your personal brands. You know, your personal brand is not going to be the exact same style as your brand, right? Because your brand has to encompass what it stands for. And a lot of times it's not just you as a brand. Now, a lot of times realtors are just, Chris Smith real estate team. Number 4 is Beacon. So I have a Beacon assistant. It's my Beacon marketing assistant. And so the same thing with Elevate. I have trained these GPTs on every single possible thing that I can about my brand. So like when people say, oh, I don't like AI, it doesn't sound like me, or it sounds like AI. No, it doesn't. Not if you do it this way. Okay.
Chris, really quick, just to back up what you're saying, guys. I am very guilty of trying with blunt force trauma to force whatever I want to create onto these platforms without any thought of how the platform wants to be received, without any thought of the algorithm. It's like, I just want to create something and then shove it in places. And what Chris is talking about is there needs to be the type of content I create for TikTok. And it's different than what maybe Instagram's algorithm, right, Chris? And then my newsletter is going to be different.
Yeah. But so I have an assembly line approach and I'm going to walk through every step of it, but think of it as like king of the hill. Like I'm going to start by posting in one place, and I'm going to post in the place that I get the most organic engagement for free. Okay. So, or I get enough organic engagement so that I can tell, is this over or underperforming? So like if I'm Amy, your personal profile posts on Facebook, Amy, let's say they get 100 likes per post. I'm not sure. It could be higher or lower. Well, If you post one that gets 300, that's a winner. If you post one
Right.
that gets 50, that's a loser. So just think of it that way. You need to establish your baseline, and then you're just looking for winners and losers. So what I do, Joe, is nothing. I only post in one place until it wins. And then when it wins, like you used to say, you know, betting on the horse, like Facebook ads, double down if it's working after the first day. That's all I'm doing. If a post overperforms, it earns the right to be posted somewhere else. And then if it does good there, I take it somewhere else. If it does good there, I take it somewhere else. So I'm kind of vetting it each step. So
Chris,
I'm in chat.
Before you go on,
yeah.
Anthony dropped in chrislist.com. I dropped in thechrislist.com, and neither one of them are which one's the
it
right
is
one?
definitely but just so you guys know, half the internet is down right now.
That's what I thought.
And that's
And there's no
because
www. It might work.
Yeah. Okay.
The internet is down because Amazon Web Services is down.
Yes.
So it is you got it right, Amy. Thechrislist.com.
Okay.
I'll drop the like deep link in the chat. But just while we're talking about this, it's really important that you think about your newsletter as a brand. Like I think of the Chris List as a brand. And so I treat it as such, and it has its own kind of brand nuances. But this is like a simple pro tip. If you have an email newsletter, you can't like have it on your website buried somewhere for people to subscribe to it. Like you need a unitedweekly.com, right? You need if you guys want to see a real estate version, the brazeltonbuzz.com, bradsblueprint.com, allinmiami.com. You want to give your newsletter its own link and its own URL. But I'm in ChatGPT, and I'm going to start over here on the left side. This is where it says GPTs. And I'm going to just start and hit explore. Okay. This is the equivalent of the GPT store, right? Now, the key to this is, and by the way, ChatGPT may not work right today either. These are all built in advance for you to use, and they're all free. That's why I don't think they call it a store, because every GPT is free. So, Amy, what is a platform that you want to level up on this year?
YouTube. I just talked about that yesterday or the day before.
So I'm going to put in YouTube, and what it'll do is it'll bring up all the most popular GPTs for that category.
Oh,
See
wow.
how it has YouTube video summarizer, right? So there's a lot of them that summarize YouTube. This one is a YouTube SEO description, but it gets really granular. Like I guarantee you there's a YouTube GPT for thumbnails.
Okay.
Like, so each specific part of it. So this is a good one. YouTube SEO Wizard. It helps you with the keywords, the titles, the hashtag, the description, and it can help you with your thumbnails. So here's what you're looking for when you go through and pick your different GPTs, because a lot of you guys don't even have the ability to build a custom GPT, but these are the ones people built. Like mine are private, Amy, because I'm using them for me. I don't want anyone else to be able to use the Chris List GPT. See what I'm saying? But these are all public. So what you're looking for is very simple. See that number? 200,000 people are using that GPT.
Okay.
So if there's a lot of people using it, then I click it. And then I'm just looking for the ratings and the reviews. And typically anything over
like
4.
anything.
Yeah. Anything over 4 is really good. And every GPT, which is really nice, is every GPT has 4 pre-built conversation starters. You can chat with it and do anything, but this is an example. Create a high click-through rate thumbnail. And it's probably going to say, what's the video for? Give me the video for it. I'm going to say for a real estate channel. Awesome. You're creating thumbnails. Let's go through it. Here's some concepts, right? So that GPT is just built for YouTube. So like my real advice on this, Amy, would be double down and make what you already do better with GPTs, right?
Yeah.
Like clearly it can help if you're looking to take on a new platform, but the first handful of GPTs that you should look for and install would be the ones that make what you already do 10 times better, faster, and easier, because then you can scale and turn the corner on your current efforts versus a lot of times we trick ourselves into thinking, oh, I'm going to start doing TikTok this year. Like double down on what works. Double down on what's already working for your business. And I could search for just about anything. Listing descriptions, real estate updates. I could find a GPT for Orlando that's like all the most important news about Orlando. There's GPTs for everything. Okay. So that's
Chris,
kind of, yeah.
In addition to giving people ideas,
Mm-hmm.
so explain really quick, how would a GPT, if somebody said, real estate in Tampa Bay,
Yep.
real estate information for Tampa Bay GPT, right? Like
Yeah.
why would that information be better than them just creating something out of whole cloth, like their own ideas? What's the power behind
Sure.
this?
Well, you should do both. So like this one is a just like you're saying, it's a newsletter link curator. So you could use this GPT for, any reason, but then you would use it specifically for Tampa real estate stuff. So the reason is it's faster, and think of it honestly, Joe, as it already has all the advanced prompts baked into it, and then they're just one click. You don't even have to worry about the prompt. So I'll use this one as an example. Find wild stories in marketing, sales, and tech. Click. This is going to, in seconds, give me a list. And there's rules in the back end of this that basically says, hey, these need to be from the last 30 days. These need to be on a site without a paywall, right? Here's marketing campaigns gone wrong. So what I do, and don't expect the AI to be perfect. What I do, which is kind of a hack, is I actually open up the GPT in several tabs, and I just run all the different prompts at the same time and then come back to them. So that one's for how-to. This one's for research. One of my favorite ones, though, is like, give me 3 links per section that are verified. So just this one GPT right now, Joe, it found me the wild marketing stories. It found me step-by-step guides. It found me research. And then it's finding me 3 suggestions per section. Conjuring house is going to be sold at an auction on Halloween. That's the kind of stuff I'm looking for. You know, so I didn't have to. Yeah.
How much are you following your own intuition versus, like, in the creation of content, everyone hopes that in addition to the quality and in quantity, there's some virality. Like, how much are you relying on it to give you, algorithmic virality through these prompts?
Well, I could say make sure these have been shared on social media a ton. You can build things in like that, Joe. And then what I do is, like, when I'm chatting with the GPT here, like when I'm using it, there's a magic phrase that's like, hey, by the way, like, add this to the GPT. Like, don't just do this once, add it to the GPT. So this one right here, 800,000 views on TikTok. So they're basically saying, yeah, that one went pretty viral, grab that one. But you're making a really good point, which is you're the curator, you're not the artist. You are choosing from great options. And trust me, when I have Claude write tweets, which I'll show you guys in a second, it gives me 25 to 50. I choose 2. So a huge part of it is your job. And then tweaking it, editing it, get rid of the M dashes is a collaborative process for sure. Now, what I would show you is I'll go into the Chrysalis GPT as an example, because these are already built and done. But
so
what
Chris,
you do,
Shalini made a comment.
I was just going to ask her question because I want to know the answer.
You're a content DJ. She's saying, like, you're using all this and you're picking what the audience hears, but you're pulling from this massive database of art. in a
Correct.
sense. Yeah.
Yeah.
Like a DJ.
Exactly. I'm
it's
just
such a
playing
good
the hits,
description.
man. I'm playing the hits. I'm not rapping.
Chris,
Which historically speaking, sorry, Aim, historically speaking, Chris, we've had to we've had to write the music, perform the music, and it's like we've tried to be everything, which either causes crap content or more in reality, no content, because we're like,
Yeah.
well, we don't have anything to say. Where
Sure.
to Shalini's point, it's like you're just grabbing the hits and going like, hey guys, here's a hit. Hey guys, here's a hit.
Exactly.
Chris, are you using Substack for your newsletters? I just want to ask get the answer to
I have I use Beehive and I use Kit.
Beehive.
Beehive is super cool. BEEHIV.com, Beehive. And then I use kit.com. One for each platform. But let me do this. Let me pull back the curtain here on what these look like on the back end and how you can create them, right? So the beauty of building these GPTs is all you have to do is just chat with ChatGPT and tell it what you want. Hey, I'm a realtor. I'm in Vegas. I want you to help me find any new listing over $5 million every single time it hits the market. Like, I want you every Monday to send me a list of all the concerts that are worth sharing with my audience that are coming into town. Every festival, every this, every that. Because I'm jumping ahead a little bit here, but ChatGPT released a ridiculously good feature called tasks. Okay. So tasks is me saying every week on Wednesday at 8, send me blank. Every Monday morning at 7, bring me this. Every morning, bring me that. Like, so you actually, and this might be crazy to people, they probably have never even seen this, but if I go into my inbox every morning when I wake up, it's right here. OpenAI, here's your updates. Here's your AI plays to boost conversion. Here's your actionable real estate prompts. So that's called a task. And literally all you have to do to use a task is just literally say, hey, now that I have this dialed in, send me this every day, send me this every night, whatever it may be. Now, I want to go back into the back end for a second of the GPT, but there's 2 ways to build these GPTs. One is you just chat. That's where it says create. But the configure is really where the gold's at. So you go to configure, and you can basically give it all these instructions. See that? So for the Chris list, I have a description of what every letter stands for. I give it the total word count. I tell it who the ideal reader is. I tell it that the goal is to drive opens, clicks, Zoom registrations, etc. And then you can see all this other context I've added. But that was all added because I just chatted for a while with the GPT. But this is the really cool part. I have actually added all of my best performing newsletters that I've ever written so that it could study and analyze my content and factor it into its suggestions in the future. So this is all done through just building a GPT. Now, I don't have this unrealistic idea that like it'll do the whole thing for me every single week and I won't have to touch it, but it's pretty close. If I were a busy realtor, you know, if I click this button, generate this week's Chris list, like basically writes the whole thing. It writes the intro, it writes the sections. It knows what the table of contents should look like. And that's taking a little longer because it was on the thinking version. But these are the GPTs. See how it says it's reading the documents? Like it's going back and it's like, okay, what are my instructions? What are the examples that he's given me? And it would actually be much faster. That's kind of the development environment. But if I come back to just the front end of ChatGPT, generate this newsletter, I'll turn off the thinking just for the sake of us being on a call. and it's going to crank it out. I'll come back to that in a second. If you look at something like Beacon, and just the pro tip alone of like opening multiple tabs for different use cases at the same time is really nice. So the Beacon marketing assistant is 100% focused on writing and creating content for Beacon. If you guys want to, by the way, I'm not going to do a huge pitch at the end, but if you guys go to buildyourbeacon.com, buildyourbeacon.com, what you're seeing here is a beacon. It's an AI powered seller report that pulls in all of your marketing, all of your campaigns from social media, all of your open house showings and seller feedback, all the comps. It analyzes it. It brings in all the activities of everything that you've been doing. And by the way, it takes less than 5 minutes to do this. And if you're used to doing like seller reports every single week that take an hour, hour and a half, and you don't look up the comps because that would be a little too much to do, or you log into all these places and you take screenshots and then you just send an email, buildyourbeacon.com, 2-week free trial. Okay. 2-week free trial. And I have a promo code, Chris List, all one word, Chris List. That gets you 20% off for life if you decide to keep and use Beacon. So that's my quick plug for Beacon. But if I go into the back end of this GPT, this one I loaded with different stuff. So again, it has all this different stuff that I've added. But with this one, a big part of it was like, I wanted to tell it like we have a brand voice guide. You guys have one of those, Amy? Like a brand,
Sort of.
kind of.
Yeah, sort of.
Yeah.
Working on it.
Understand. But like if you have a style guide, a brand guide, like it's really powerful. And like one of the ones that we did that a lot of people don't do, I think it's worth showing. It's called a personality style guide. And I'll share this if you guys want to rip it off and make it your own. I'll drop this in the chat. Anyone with the link can view, copy. This will be in the chat for you guys. But what this is doing is it's saying, here's Beacon's personality, right? If somebody were to add their first section to a Beacon, we would want to say headers in, looking sharp, witty and supportive. Boom, you just built your first Beacon. You just turned your invisible hustle into a report that slaps, right? So this is us basically saying, hey, it's smart but not smug. It's helpful with sparkle. It's conversational but crisp. You guys should all take the time to do this because these are all the kind of things that if you put into the settings, it pays itself back again and again and again. Now, let me keep cranking because I know we have 15 minutes left. And I'm going to answer all the questions that people have, Amy. I think we do that at the end.
Yeah, please. That'd be great.
Yeah, I'm sure there'll be a bunch of questions. But I want to give you guys a couple pro tips here. And the first one is about subject lines and preview text. This is specific to email newsletters. So if I log into, I'll go into my Beehive account. And this is my newsletter called Elevate. And Elevate is an email newsletter about email newsletters. And you can see like it performs really good. Like this is crazy, but like 67% open rate, 10% click-through rate. But the pro tip is very simple. The last thing you should do is come up with your subject lines in your preview text. So as an example, what does that mean? Well, subject line and preview text are what people are going to see here before they decide to open. So you can see this is actually people responding, hey, give me the replay. So your subject line is this, but your preview text is really important too, which is the kind of second one. So what I do, and this is actually really simple, don't ask for the subject line and preview text until you've written the whole email. Then I go to the bottom and scroll up because it's faster than scrolling from the top down. I copy that And then I go back into my GPT, and one of the pre-made prompts is, ask me to provide my latest newsletter and give me 10 subject lines and preview text suggestions. Paste the newsletter, boom. It's gonna give me really, really good subject lines and preview text. Now, I'm spending a little bit of extra time on email newsletters because that's what my company Ella does. We write email newsletters. I write 2 per week. But you can see here, it's basically taking the content from the email and giving me all these different suggestions. It actually came up with the smartest realtor newsletter in New Jersey. That, like, I didn't come up with that. And then you can see here, plus the pop-up that adds 500 subscribers and how to write a viral subject line in under 90 seconds. So that kind of stuff is really critical. Another one that I use, this is very simple, I don't even need to show it, is I actually go in, and one of the other pre-written prompts for all of my GPTs is, I want the GPT to be my editor, not just my writer. Okay. So same thing. This is my 10x prompt. Ask me to provide my latest newsletter and then make it 10 times better. And then tell me the specific changes that you want me to do. So this, I always end up with some really good suggestions. That's my 10x prompt. Okay. And then I already talked about tasks. We already covered tasks so that they're bringing you information every single day. So it's your researcher, it's your editor. And then let me show you guys one last thing, because it can summarize anything on the internet really well. But I found a couple of pro tips here. So I would go to a source article. This could be about anything. And instead of grabbing the link, and instead of going to my newsletter tool and saying, like, if I just said, like, summarize this, right, and drop the link, it actually does a terrible job compared to if you just grab the whole freaking article. So I just grab the whole article. And by the way, I'm always linking to these articles in the newsletter. Like, I'm not ripping anyone off. I'm summarizing their article and linking to them. So I would come in and I would say, summarize this for the how to section, because the GPT knows that that's one of the sections in the Chris list. So it takes all that copy, it breaks it down, and it creates a really nice section for me. Now, I still edit it and tweak it. And when I put it into the email tool, I don't just take it exactly word for word, but hopefully you guys are starting to see how you can scale the quality, right? Custom GPTs, really specific instructions. The next thing, though, well, before I move on, this is really important. So you guys said you want me to help you make more sales, Amy, right?
Absolutely.
Well, if you look at my shirt, it says call the damn leads. So
I love your...
when you're doing newsletters or content marketing, you need to understand that not every click is equal. So sometimes they're just clicking to go deeper on the article I referenced. But if I were to go back to this newsletter, and if I go to the bottom, as an example, it says, your brand deserves better than email newsletter templates. At Ella, we ghostwrite emails like smarts and hearts that sound like you on your best day. So, Amy, if someone clicks that link, right, that's what we consider a hand raiser. Versus, let's say somebody clicks like, hey, check out this subject line tester. Mm-hmm. So what I'm talking about when I say follow up is you want to go in, and usually I do this about 48 hours after I send the email. It's about how long it takes to get all the stats, opens, etc. And all you have to do, every email provider gives you this. I would go into the email and I would go to performance and then see all these clicks. Well, the click that has this is the Ella click. And it's not that many people. It's a manageable number of people. 13 clicks from 10 people. So I literally go into the details. I now have those people. I screenshot those people and I send it to my sales team.
Yeah.
And I say, call them. Focus on them. That's called a hand raiser. So I hope you guys are enjoying this. Let me know in the chat if you're enjoying it. I have one last module, Amy, and I can stay a little later for Q&A. It's no problem.
Do you want to know what? Like, it just, at the end of the day, it just comes down to the magic that we're looking for in all of this is in the work that we're avoiding with the phone calls. Like, you still have to leverage it all, but make the calls.
Yeah. I mean, I get
Everything.
inbound opportunities all the time.
Yeah.
But what I do is I do inbound content marketing, but then I still have an outbound boiler room mindset.
Well, and I think Amy, Chris, it all comes down to everything we do needs to be for the purpose of the creation of conversations that lead to appointments that lead to contracts. Like, and so, Chris, what you're talking about here isn't you're going to magically wake up and your bank account is filled because ChatGPT went out and showed a bunch of houses, wrote contracts, and closed deals for you. What you're talking about is newsletters, emails, social posts that create conversations to where I'm able to pick up the phone and say, oh, hey, Julie, yeah, like, let me get that report put together to show you what your house is worth so we can help you sell it. And it's like, this is all shortcuts and, you know, a little bit of work that goes into the creation of a conversation. But there's never a world in which you're not going to have to talk to people.
Well, here's the beauty. Well, don't say that, Joe, but the beauty is, the beauty is that you're calling someone that you know just got a boatload of value from the email they got.
Right.
It's a much better call than a cold call. It's different. So it's like, hey, we're just following up. Wanted to thank you for being a subscriber. What do you think of the Brazelton Buzz? Oh, I love it. Yeah. Well, would you be interested in talking about selling your home in the next 12 months? So, but by the way, I only called her because she clicked a link that said, if you're selling your home soon, go here. See that? See what I'm saying? That is kind of what I call BBF, behavior-based follow-up. Let me get into the last section and then we'll do the Q&A. Now, because I focused so far on a lot of what I would call short form content, or excuse me, long form content. Well, now I actually want to have another system in place that's equally as powerful for social media content. And so I virtually did the same thing. I think Claude, those of you that have never used Claude, it's Claude.ai. I think Claude is better than ChatGPT at writing creative copy. Okay. So I use both a ton. There's pros and cons to both. But with Claude, it's not called a GPT. It's called a project right here on the left. Okay. So if you look at my Chris AI, this is actually people work, exactly what to say, and the conversion code. I actually was able to upload all of my books. The other thing I did, and this takes a little bit of time, but it's so worth it. You need to go to your platform that you have had the best success with so far, and you need to request an export of all of your data and posts. They have to give it to you. Sometimes they don't give it to you immediately. But I went to X and I downloaded every tweet I've ever done, and I sorted it by the ones that had the most engagement. And I fed it to Claude and I said, study these, analyze what worked, and make sure we factor that in when we write our tweets moving forward. And what it noticed is it noticed that categories like Zillow, NAR, discount brokers, it noticed that those things actually perform the best. So it's not just style, which is important, but your viral post examples. Now, let me give you guys a pro tip that 89% of you need right now. and maybe I'll ask in the chat, just give me a W in the chat. Are you worried that you don't even have enough content to go into to look at what's viral and what worked? You're not a prolific creator. See that, Amy?
Yeah.
So here is the big takeaway for everyone that's typing W right now. You can do this for any account. It doesn't have to be your account. Now you can't download their whole freaking, tweet history, but I can go to any YouTube channel, Amy, and I can sort by the most popular videos. So I'll give you an example. I did this one time. I went to Tom Ferry's channel. I'm like, oh, I wonder what Tom Ferry's best video ever is. And it was about the fact that 87% of realtors fail. And so I went into the AI and I said, hey, this guy's the #1 coach in our industry. His video about realtors failing, really did well. Can you create me some content, in the same vein? You can go to Twitter and you can sort anyone's account by the number of likes. I had Mike Simonson on. He's the chief economist at Compass right now. When I brought him on, I did this and I went in and I said, show me Mike Simonson's most popular tweet ever. And it was somewhat of a political stance. And so I was like, well, 7,700 people on Twitter liked it. I bet I'll get some engagement if I take it over to Instagram, right? So you can do this for anybody's content. It doesn't have to be your own. So I'm getting rid of that excuse for a lot of the people. And then this is the last thing. Yeah, go ahead.
Oh, go ahead. No, go.
Well, I was just going to say the last thing is, and somebody in the chat who's definitely smarter than most when it comes to this stuff mentioned N8N. N8N. I would also mention make.com. I would also mention ChatGPT and OpenAI rolled out this as well, where you can actually create what are called agents that will do all of these steps in the process for you. And they just literally hand it to you on a silver platter. If I thought people were capable of doing that properly and pulling it off, I would teach it. But I know my audience. I've already got head spinning. And if I opened up N8N, you guys would freak out and be like, screw this, I'm walking away. So I'm just being real there. That's the only reason I'm not talking about that. But my assembly line is simple. Step 1, I use X. The reason I use X is because I can post 10 to 12 tweets a day and no one cares. I can't post on Instagram 10 times a day. I can't post on Facebook 10 times a day. Plus, I don't need any visuals. I don't need any videos. I just start by posting plain text updates. Then, if they do really good, and this is actually one of my favorite tools that no one's heard of, and I know there's tools like this for every platform, but what I do is if I'm looking at my tweets, I would go in. I did this morning, actually, and this tweet was overperforming, okay? It's got 500 views, it's got 12 likes. I know my numbers. That's overperforming. So I use this tool called Tweet Pick, super simple. You paste the link to the tweet. It will actually build the beautiful screenshot for you instead of doing it on your phone, right? And then I took that and I went to Claude and I said, hey, Claude, I need a viral Instagram caption for this post. And it wrote this. Then I went to Instagram and I posted both. And because I know my numbers, it's doing really good. In 1 hour, it has almost 500 likes. Glenda Baker, lots of smart people sharing it. So when I say I have an assembly line, that's what I mean. Now, if it overperforms on Instagram, then I put it on my Facebook page and the boomers blow it up. What do I mean by that? Well, people love commenting, arguing. Like my content, I like Instagram more, but I would be crazy not to put my best performers on Facebook because they go way more viral. They get way more comments. Now,
and you're not auto posting. I mean, this is the third time we've heard this in like 3 weeks, right? Like you're not auto posting from Instagram to Facebook.
No. And you know what happened, Joe, is my sort of like, I was doing that and my sync ability went away. It just disconnected for some reason. And I just never set it back up. So I just make sure it's doing really good. So here's an example. Let me paint you a picture talking about realtors making how much money they actually make. Like, and if you look at the insights on this, it's freaking crazy, right? 5 million views, 5,000 comments, and a lot of the comments are negative. Guess what I do with those comments, Amy?
Engage with them?
No, I actually don't. I probably should.
No?
I go in and I copy them all and I go back to Claude and say, nice job, buddy. The post you did went viral. Here's all the comments. Let's factor those in to our content creation strategy.
Oh my gosh.
And again, I could have been copying anybody's comments on Facebook and pulling them in. So it pulls out the trends. It was like, hey, the Z in Zillow is for accuracy. You know, that was a post, or the A in Zillow stands for accuracy. So that, like, it pulls out the best of the best. And now it just keeps training the AI. So that, when I say an assembly line, like, and then Joe, back to LinkedIn, you see where I'm posting on LinkedIn? I'm not even posting on LinkedIn until it jumped through all these hoops and did good. And then when it does good everywhere, this is going to blow everyone's mind. I'll wrap it up with this. Then I go to Hey Jen. And this is something like, I'm going to share my screen here, heygen.com. This is ridiculously crazy that this exists. But you can come in and you can create with a little bit of footage and a little bit of audio, you can actually create an AI avatar. So Amy, this is me. That's AI. I mean, I know I put on a little weight, but it's pretty great. If I go over here and I show you guys my reels, let me pull up my reels. I'll just show one as the example. This is from that one about realtors being overpaid. It has 13,000 views. It's an overpaid gig. Let's talk about what they actually cost you per hour. Amy, that's AI.
Crazy.
So it ain't just like goofy little cartoony AIs. That's called photorealistic AI. And all I had to do that on Hey Jen is I literally had to upload some MP4 footage of me on camera. And then I use a tool called 11 Labs. And 11 Labs is where you upload your audio, a really clean MP3 of the audio. And I want to be honest, when I was building this class, I wanted to make sure I covered beginning, intermediate, and advanced ideas. And I feel like I've done that. I feel like Jordan Rossman's taking notes too. You know, not just Sally, the realtor who's lost. Now, last thing, and this kind of gives you guys can screenshot this, and I'll give you these slides, Amy, if you want to include it, maybe link to it in the YouTube description or something.
Yep.
So it's a continuous loop. I post, I go and get the performance data and go back to the AI. I tell it to analyze the patterns of what resonated. I tell it to create new variations based on what did the best. And then I go into the comments and the top objections become new content. What does this do? It's done a lot. My posts are reaching millions of people. My follower count is blowing up. I've got 100x the engagement rate of most people in our industry, but I'm optimizing it to be platform specific. I'm making data-driven decisions. I'm not guessing. I'm creating content that agents love to share. I'm only scaling something when it's a winner, and I've got a continuous content pipeline. I stopped sharing the screen, but I just read you guys this. And then let me go back one because this one's worth screenshotting. Q&A, Amy. I can't believe I wasn't invited to CreatorCon. I feel like I just earned a spot. Come on.
You were
So-
standalone, Chris.
Yeah, that's
Yeah,
why.
no,
That's what I said. I was like, you don't need a lineup. You are the lineup.
No, that was good. Yeah.
What do you use in the green screen your Zoom calls?
Right now?
Yeah, what is that? You're like, rather than being a box, you're
Presentation
part
in
of the
the back.
screen.
Oh, so what that is, Joe, is it's available for everyone. When you hit share on Zoom now, it has 4 options on the right side. Content only, as the background, over the shoulder, side by side. So I actually could have done this as well. See how it looks a little different?
Yeah. So you're doing as the background.
Yeah. Just whenever you hit share, it gives you those options now. I could have done side by side.
Well, you know what's interesting to me is with all the
This is my favorite one, though, the one that I did throughout the call. I like kind of like being in the deck.
As the background, yeah.
Yeah.
So many questions could be answered from just poking around. Like I asked you that question because when I click share, I don't even look at those options. I just go with default. And I think a lot of what you shared was just like, if you start poking around on some of these technologies, you're going to find things that you're like, oh, wow, I didn't even know it could do that. Like I told my daughter, I was like, I feel like I'm following a bunch of people that I don't care about and they don't care about me. And she was just like, well, have you ever gone to least interacted with on Instagram? And I'm like, no, what's that? And she showed me and I'm like, oh, wow. Yeah, I can't even believe I still follow that person. I doubt they still follow me. And you're able to just unfollow people really quick. And I'm like, oh, well, that's great. I don't want to unfollow anyone that I care about or that I interact with, but do I really need to follow a guy that played for the Golden Knights 6 years ago and is now retired? No. And so anyways. It's just funny when you start pressing buttons, what happens. All right. So some people are going to have to hop off, Chris, but there was a million questions. Aim, I don't know if you're keeping track. It seems like Amy's got her hand up.
Amy Ness put her hand up. Yeah.
Yeah. What's up, Amy? Good to see you.
It's like a million years. What is it? 16, 17 years?
Stop it. We don't talk about that.
I know, right? That's the age of a child. So I had 2 questions, obviously. Efficiency. I popped them into the chat a little bit. So if I'm going to take and drag all my stuff, I mean, I got the tweet pic and that whole idea of the screenshot converted, whatever. But how can I get all of my stuff, or how can I get more in a more efficient manner as opposed to just like one at a time kind of thing?
Yeah. Meaning, do you mean finding the winners or creating the post?
Well, it seemed like when you were talking that basically you had said, I just basically, I said, how do we ask for the content from X, etc.? It is in the settings.
Yeah. So you have to go in. I'll just show it really quick. Okay. And every platform's about the same, Amy. They don't really want you to do this, to be clear.
I know.
They really tuck it away, which is crazy. But you go to more, you go to settings, right? Okay. I don't even know, like, let's see. Oh yeah, right there. Download an archive of your data.
Okay.
Yeah, and then it gives it to
you
your
password there, Chris.
It gives it to you in this crazy format, but it does have a column for the tweets and a column for the engagement.
Okay. So the only other question I had, I kind of popped it in here. Is there some kind of pill like in the Limitless movie or something that I should be taking so I can do all the things at this level, like what you're doing?
Yes, it's called Alexa Pro.
All right, I'm done talking. Thank you.
No problem.
Yeah, Chris. So one of the questions was, okay, what's the first step?
Yeah.
Like, I love that you went beginner, intermediate, and advanced. What's the first step who somebody's like, you know what, I created a little bit of content. I'm trying to do some newsletters and emails. I'm trying to keep my Instagram going. Like, where would you suggest people go with the very first step?
Yeah, there's a couple steps that they could start with. Number one, and this is just a shameless plug, I put the link in the chat. The first step would be to hire my company to help you, Ella, because most people don't take the time to do anything. Like if you're writing a newsletter and you're great at it and you enjoy it, please don't reach out. But if you want a company that's super sharp to kind of help you with it, the first step could be outsourcing. No jokes aside. But if you're talking about everything I taught today, where do I line it up? I would do 2 things. Number one, where am I already getting the most organic engagement? So Joe, for you, I bet it's your Facebook profile. Is that right?
Organic?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, your profile. So
Yep.
I would go do what I just did for Amy, download and then I would start by having the AI analyze all of my past content. I would have it summarize what performs the best. I would have it categorize it by type, Zillow, NAR, discount brokers, right? Yours might be religion, real estate, like whatever it is. And then I would build a custom GPT with all of that knowledge. And I would tell it to send me a list of 10 things I can post every morning.
Do you care at all about the future of some of these technologies? Like, it seems like Instagram and Facebook are going to be kings for a really long time, and the type of content they're pushing, and TikTok, it looks like we just reached some sort of agreement to keep TikTok around, and so it does what it does. Or are you just going like, I'm just going to keep creating content. I'm going to try to optimize it for each platform, and then as new platforms come up or fall off, I'll just adapt to those.
That.
Yeah,
I
makes sense.
love this. I have fun doing it. I enjoy it. If I have a like part of the reason I don't post on LinkedIn as much is because that's not where my tribe's at. I don't get a lot of engagement. I don't really care about like thought leadering with the thought leaders. Like that's never been my vibe. So I don't use it that much. TikTok, I use it every day. I like using it. I suck at it. I'm not great at it, but I have 21,000 followers there. I have a video with 1 million views. So for me, it's like, if I can accomplish dopamine release, that's going to make it a lot more fun to use. And like one of my first TikToks, a guy DM'd me and said, "Hey, can you speak at our conference? Here's a huge check to come out." So like that was all I needed. I didn't need to. I have never asked the ROI of anything. I certainly get asked that by other people all the damn time.
How do you fight? And Amy, Raquel, you guys may see some questions. This is just, I'm just geeking out on myself. How do you fight creation versus consumption? Like with all of these platforms, I'm concerned about myself. I'm concerned about my children. Like, how do you fight the urge to go like, I'm going to leverage TikTok, but like I get on there and I'm learning about aliens and all kinds of weird conspiracy theories. And I'm like, dude, okay, get back into creation mode. Like, how do you fight that yourself to not get stuck in consumption mode?
Yeah, I mean, I make the first thing I do every morning, my priority is creating, but I also bookmark stuff when I consume. So if I'm consuming content that I love, I bookmark it or I throw it in my Apple Notes app. And then when I sit down to create, like half the time when I go to do the Chris list, I don't even need the AI because throughout the week leading up to it, I stumbled upon 4 or 5 things that I wanted to include anyway. But I think you can't be in both modes. Like you should identify as a creator, and then the consuming should have a purpose. Like, what am I going to do with what I'm kind of inputting? And the beauty of it, Joe, is it doesn't even have to be like word for word what you would do. Like you can learn so much from these other creators. Like there's people, like I'll give you one example. Gary Vee. We all love Gary Vee. Gary Vee said, quit trying to figure out what to post and just listen to the algorithm. And when he said that, I'm like, okay, let me go look at all my content and what did the best. And what does the best by far is when I evangelize real estate agents and when I tell the consumer that they should value them and that they're not overpaid and that they're not lazy and that they're freaking awesome. And specifically, when I speak directly to a buyer or seller, I can say stuff that most realtors would never say. But they're
realtors love you saying it and sharing it, hoping
Amen.
that their consumers are going to see it.
That's exactly right, dude. You could make a whole listing appointment from my Instagram posts. So like the reality is that I personally, this is where I had to kind of say, okay, I personally think it's more fun and I enjoy creating tactical, practical advice, right? Well, that wasn't doing so good on social media. It does great in my newsletter. You see what I'm saying? It does great as a podcast or a YouTube channel, but for social media specifically, the algorithm was telling me to change my strategy. And so I just listened to it.
Love it.
Amy?
This is a lot. This is a lot.
Yeah.
It's
A lot
so
of people are
good.
still logged on.
Anybody else going to be listening to the recording a few times? Like, not
Yes.
like what? This is like a few
You're not
times.
alone, Amy.
You know how they have
Well,
the
you
like
just have
playback
to
speed? They have like the
I mean, the key
playback
is-
speed fast. I think
Yeah,
this one
yeah.
you guys should do
Put it on slow. Put it on half speed.
0.75.
Yeah, that's
I
right.
mean, the point is, Chris, you got to start taking bites of the elephant, right?
Mhm.
Like we as agents do not have the choice to sit back and go like, okay, cool, I'm just not going to pay attention to this stuff. We
Mhm.
have to learn. We are now it's 1998, and it's like, okay, guys, you just have to get a computer. Like I don't know what to tell you. You have to
Mhm.
get a cell phone. Like you have to have it. We
Yeah.
have to learn these things, or else we are going to be there talking about our pizza boxes and our sports calendars that used to crush it, and now they don't. And those pizza boxes and sports calendars are going to be, what our old newsletters or our old Facebook posts, and no one cares anymore because we're
Mhm.
not evolving. And it's like, there's a song by the Backseat Lovers, great song, "Growing and Dying." And it's like, if you're not growing, you're dying. If you're not growing, you're dying. Like the song teaches that principle over and over again. And Chris, it's safe to say this is the growth we all need to be having.
Yeah, and I do a 90-10 mix. 90% of the stuff I'm working on is proven and working and awesome. And then just 10% is me kind of dicking around, trying new cool stuff. So like right now, I'm pretty deep in Sora. Have you been using Sora, Amy?
Oh, this is a debatable topic.
Jordan Rossman and I are geeking out on Sora together.
Yeah, so
I love it.
Sora.
I'm a little concerned about it from a privacy perspective, and just.
Let me tell you,
Dude, people making videos of Kobe Bryant winning helicopters on Wheel of Fortune. I'm like, bro, what is going on? So, Amy, there is a dark side to it for sure.
Yeah, well,
let me show you guys a dark side for our industry. This is my Sora. Can you guys see it?
That's
Coming up.
Yep.
Okay. Half the ones I make, I don't post. This one I posted, and it was like, she just got her real estate license. Like, that's how fast it was. But I want you guys to watch this video and tell me if this wouldn't scare the shit out of you.
We can't hear it though.
Oh, is that Sirhan?
Yeah. That's Sirhan with Bonnie Blue.
I don't know who that is.
The world's most famous porn star. Yeah.
That's not great.
Because he approved Cameo, which you have to approve people can use your likeness, and she approved Cameo.
So people can now make videos of them together.
Dude, I'm like, people might not be thinking about that. Because, and by the
Jake
way,
Paul
Martin
was the
Luther
first.
King, they're trying to act like anyone dead is fair game. Martin Luther King, his estate already was like, no, you need to shut that shit down. I'm seeing videos of Stephen Hawking's getting power slapped out of his chair. Like it is crazy. But listen, I see that, but I don't let that paralyze me from trying to use it in a creative way.
Right.
And what I've been doing, this is just like a super bleeding edge for people that are still on. When I go to Sora, what I found to be really helpful is just go up here to the tab that says top. Okay. Try to find some like that are really good that you see here. Ignore at your own peril, right? But then when I find one that's super cool, you can click it and you can click remix.
With your face, you can make yourself now the pilot.
Yeah. Add at Chris Smith.
Well, watch this, Chris. Change that. Put add at Joe Herrera. Because I don't know if I let everyone use mine. I've been geeking out on this stuff, but anyways.
Yeah. I mean, I'm not famous enough to where I'm, dealing with
I'm going to make you do some crazy stuff on Sora. Just give me the freedom.
Stop it. You're going to get me divorced over here. Be careful.
Chris, this has been absolutely amazing. And I cannot believe there's still 130 plus people still on here, and we're like 20 minutes over, but thank you so much, guys. We will make sure that this recording is available on our YouTube within 24 hours. We always send out the recap, so Chris promised me the slides. We'll send them out in the recap email tomorrow. This has been like off the charts good. It's like so
good. I'm glad you guys loved it. And
guys, make sure that you check out Chris's companies, Beacon and Ella, and make sure you're following him and sign up for the Chris list. Like, this guy is an absolute wealth of wisdom, and we're just so lucky that we had you here today. Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Yeah,
thanks,
my last pitch would be this. If you're on camera, raise your hand if I helped your business today. Okay. Help my business today. That's it. Thank you, guys.
All right.
Bye.
Thank you, Chris. Bye, guys.
See you guys.